Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into a document that can literally make or break your business, the commercial lease. You know, getting this right isn't just important, it is absolutely everything.
Because let's be honest, it's about so much more than just what you're paying in rent and how many square feet you get. The real danger? It's in the fine print. Hidden clauses and complicated legal jargon can lock you into obligations that could seriously hurt your business down the road.
So, let's reframe this. This isn't just a stuffy contract, it's the official rulebook for your business's new home. And once you learn the rules of the game, well, that's when you can start playing to win.
All right, first things first. We have to establish the boundaries of your business playground. This part is all about what you can do in your new space and, maybe more importantly, what you can't.
Now, this clause is the landlord's #1 tool for creating the exact vibe they want for their property. Right? They're trying to build a successful mix of tenants, making sure that the brand new coffee shop doesn't suddenly decide to start selling sneakers and upset the actual sneaker store right next door.
So how do landlords pull this off? Well, they've got two main tricks up their sleeve. A restrictive use clause is kind of like a building's dress code. It just keeps things consistent. But an exclusive use clause, that's your secret weapon. It guarantees you're the only business in that shopping center selling what you sell. And for a small business, getting that exclusivity can be a total game changer. It locks out your direct competition before you even unlock your doors.
And just look at this. It's basically a tug of war. That is exactly what this negotiation feels like. The landlord's over here pulling for maximum flexibility so they can lease to pretty much anyone. And you, the tenant, you're pulling for total exclusivity because you want to be the only game in town. The real question is, who's got more leverage?
You know, there's one thing landlords really hate, and it's something called dark space. That's when a tenant is paying rent, but the lights are off and the storefront is totally empty. It just looks bad, it kills foot traffic for everyone else, and this clause is designed to prevent that from happening. Plus, it also ensures the landlord can collect any rent that's based on a percentage of your sales. Okay, so you've mapped out your playground. Great. Now, for the not-so-fun stuff. Who has to pay when things go wrong or something breaks? This section is all about risk and repair.
Just think of your tenant insurance like a three-legged stool, okay? The first leg is there to support your income if, God forbid, you're forced to close for a while. The second leg protects all your stuff, your inventory. And that third leg, that covers any damage you might cause to the space. And you can bet your lease is going to demand you have all three.
And here's a little something you might not see coming. Your type of business can actually drive up your costs. I mean, a restaurant with a hot kitchen is just a higher risk than a quiet bookstore. That means the landlord's insurance premium goes up, and guess who usually ends up paying for that increase? Yep, you do. When it comes to repairs, the division of labor is usually pretty straightforward. The landlord takes care of the big-ticket items. We're talking the roof, the foundation, the actual structural bones of the building. Meanwhile, you, the tenant, you're responsible for keeping everything inside your own four walls clean and in good working order.
So what if you want to make some changes? You're thinking of knocking down a wall, maybe adding a new counter. Whoa, hold on. You can't just hire a contractor. First, you've got to submit detailed plans and get the landlord's explicit written approval before a single hammer gets swung.
Okay, let's get into the big what-ifs, right? Like, what happens if you have to leave before your lease is up? Or what if something catastrophic happens, like a fire that seriously damages the building?
And this, right here, this gets to the heart of another huge point of conflict. So after a disaster, you need the landlord to rebuild, and you need them to do it fast. But the landlords, they're looking at their bottom line. They want an escape hatch in case rebuilding is just way too expensive. And you better believe this is a massive point of negotiation.
Now, if you do need to get out of your lease early, one way is through what's called an assignment. The best way to think about this is like you're in a relay race and you're passing the entire lease, the whole baton, to a new runner. They take over completely and you are out of the race for good. Subletting, though, is a totally different animal. This is more like getting a roommate. Sure, they're paying you rent, but you're still the one whose name is on the lease. If they cause any trouble, guess what? It's your problem to deal with. You're still on the hook with the landlord.
So let's use this table to make it crystal clear. Just look at that top row for the original tenant. With an assignment, your relationship with the landlord is over. Kaput. But with a sublet, you are still legally on the hook. It all boils down to this legal term called privity, which is really just a fancy way of asking who has the direct legal relationship with the landlord. In an assignment, it's the new guy. In a sublet, it's still you.
But wait, here is a massive, massive risk you have to know about. If you go to your landlord and ask to assign or sublet, some leases give them a huge trump card. They can just terminate your lease entirely. This lets them cut you out and negotiate a brand new and probably more expensive deal directly with the new tenant. So you're out, and they've just upgraded their income stream.
Okay, all good things must come to an end, right? And that includes your lease. So let's talk about the final clauses that manage how this whole business relationship wraps up. You know, getting out of your lease really depends on how it's structured. If you're on a month-to-month term, that gives both you and the landlord a ton of flexibility. But a fixed-term lease, that's a serious binding contract. And trying to break that early, if the lease even allows for it, is almost certainly going to cost you a pretty big penalty fee.
So what happens if your lease is up, but you're just not ready to pack up and leave? Well, if you stay past your end date with the landlord's permission, you become what's known as an overholding tenant. And this usually means you're now on a month-to-month plan, often at a much higher rental rate for the privilege.
And finally, 2 last clauses you've got to keep on your radar. Quiet enjoyment isn't actually about noise levels. It's your legal right to run your business without the landlord constantly interfering or disrupting you. Then there's the radius restriction. That's basically the landlord saying, hey, I love your business here, so please don't open another one just down the street and compete with yourself and me.
So if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's that understanding these clauses is your power. It completely transforms them from scary, intimidating legal jargon into powerful tools that you can actually use to negotiate a better deal and build a stronger foundation for your business. Because that's exactly what this is. It's a negotiation, not a command handed down from on high. By knowing what to look for, what to ask for, and what to watch out for, you can help build a lease that doesn't just give your business a place to live, but actually helps it succeed right from day one.